Hello, I am Jessica Fuller. Most of you know me as the owner of the Hot Yoga Spot. Some of you know me as the co-creator of Bare Blends. But today I am here to talk to you about something entirely different. This is something super personal and private in nature. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm a very private person, but something happened to me this year, and I think sharing the story will help others. And I've always believed if you can help people, you should try to do it. So this is a hard thing for me to do and super scary, but if I've learned anything this year, it's that I can do really hard things. So here we go. And apologies in advance for ugly tears. They're already coming. Okay. I found out in March of this year that I had breast cancer. I didn't see this coming. I had no idea this could ever happen to me. I have no family history of breast cancer. Nobody in my family has ever had cancer at a young age. And I'm a really healthy person. I mean, I work out every day. I have been a plant-based vegetarian for 20 years. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol. I breastfed my babies. Like, I literally didn't think this could happen to me. But it happened to me. And I found out on March 31st that I had breast cancer. And less than 2 months later, I had my entire chest removed, 95% of my breast tissue in a double mastectomy. And at the time of that surgery, the doctors were optimistic that would be the only major medical intervention I was going to need, but it was present in my lymph nodes. It had spread. So now in October, I'm halfway through 5 months of chemotherapy. After that, I will have radiation. And after that, I will have some minor intervention every month for the rest of my life, just to make sure that this never comes back. And I'm sharing this today because prior to March of this year, I literally didn't think this could happen to somebody like me. I've made a life of being a healthy person, an active person. I made a career for helping others to do that same thing. And I didn't understand that this can happen to anybody. And I realized really early on in this journey that because this happened to me, as long as I was going to live through it, I wanted to help others. And I wanted to turn this negative into a positive. So that's why I'm sharing this today. The truth is that 13% of women will get breast cancer. It doesn't matter who you are. I still obviously advocate for living a healthy lifestyle and making good choices, but ultimately 1 in 8 women will get this. And I think it's really important to know that. And it seems so crazy now that I didn't know that. You know, at the start of this year, I mean, I'd heard of breast cancer. I knew people, in my orbit that had it, but I didn't know it was possible for me to get it. And I feel so naive and so stupid saying that, but I just really want others to understand. 13% will get it. It's happening to younger people every single year. And I really wanted to share that. And I think an important part of sharing my journey is sharing how I found out about it. So for that, I need to rewind a few years. After my husband and I had our second child, we decided we were done at 2. We weren't having any more. At the time, I was going to an OB office that I didn't love. It was a half hour from my house, and I didn't love the practice anyway. And it just seemed like a good time to transition away from them and start going someplace else. So when the time came for my annual OB appointment, I didn't make it, and I didn't go. And then I just forgot to find a new one. And I didn't go that year, and I didn't go the next year. And it's so crazy now looking back on it because I believe in science, I believe in doctors, I believe in medicine. I never miss a physical. I go to the dermatologist every year. I go to the dentist twice a year. I go to my doctors, but I was never gonna get breast cancer and I wasn't having any more kids. So I just kind of put finding that type of doctor on the back burner for a little bit. It wasn't even a conscious choice, but I'm busy with my career and I'm always with my kids and my husband and my friends. And I just didn't go to a doctor. And then fast forward to this past February, I was at my annual physical and was deemed healthy as a horse, great physical, everything was terrific. On the way out the door, the doctor said to me, "Do you need a referral for anything?" And I was like, you know what? I haven't been to an OB in a long time. I'll take a referral for that. She gave me the info for a doctor on a Post-it, and I lost the Post-it in my car and didn't do anything with it. And then weeks later, I was cleaning out my car and I found the Post-it and I was like, let me stop what I'm doing, call the doctor, make an appointment. That was in mid-March. I showed up for the appointment. I went in, not a care in the world, and I went out being told that they'd found a lump. I still didn't think it was anything too concerning. But I agreed to do a mammogram, even though I was only 37 years old and really wasn't due to start getting mammograms until age 40, 3 years later, because I had no history of this in my family. But I agreed to do the mammogram. I went to that appointment the next week and thought I would be there for 20 minutes. And they kept me almost 3 hours. They had me do imaging, they reviewed it, they had me wait and then do more imaging, reviewed it. They had me do ultrasounds, reviewed it. This process went on for hours. And before I left, I had an appointment for a biopsy the following week, as well as an appointment to meet with a surgeon at a hospital the week after that. And they didn't tell me I had cancer in that appointment, but I remember leaving and calling my husband and telling him that I definitely had cancer, because there was no way mammograms are supposed to go like that. So long story short, that turned into biopsies and MRIs and more ultrasounds and more mammograms and more biopsies and genetic testing. And before I knew it, a month and a half later, I was getting my mastectomy. And the reason I shared this part of my journey is because I spent every night for 2 months so mad at myself for not going to a gynecologist sooner and not realizing that this was something that could happen to me. And every night my kids would go to bed and I would just sob thinking that I was gonna die and leave them without a mom, because I couldn't be bothered to drive a half hour to go to the gynecologist once a year. And it was such a bad feeling. And to be so scared about what was happening in my own body and then have like guilt and regret and anger and all these feelings on top of it was the hardest thing I've ever been through. And I just wanted to share this because breast cancer happens to so many people, but it's so highly treatable if you find it early. And I'm so lucky that even though I didn't go to an OB for years, they still found it early. And I obviously need all these medical interventions now, but they feel very confident that I'm still gonna live a very long, very happy, very healthy life. And I just know that for all the other women out there, like I want them to have this information. So anybody watching this right now, if you're the type of person that like puts off your mammogram because you don't like getting one, or you can't remember the last time you went to an OB, if you could just stop watching this video and like make an appointment and schedule your services. For the other women out there that like do self-breast exams, but they don't really do them all the time, they forgot the last time they did one, if you could just put a little alert in your calendar to do them once a month, that would be amazing. And then for all the other women out there like me who had never done a self-breast exam in their life, if you could spend 30 seconds just Googling how to do one and then set an alert in your calendar for once a month, finding it early is so important, and the tools are out there. I just want to make sure that people feel empowered and understand what to do, how to move forward. Before I let you guys go, I just want to say 2 other things. One, this has been such a hard experience for me, but one thing that has gotten me through it is, besides my husband who's been amazing, and knowing that I'll do whatever I need to do to live a long life for my kids and my friends that know, besides that, it's been the medical team that I've worked with. I felt so comforted by them. They've been so amazing. I've lucked out with my doctors, entirely female, which is amazing and badass, and I love that. But I just wanted to really quickly thank Dr. Troy at Albany Med, Dr. Gannon at the Plastic Surgery Group for doing an amazing job with my surgery, Dr. Thea DeLu, Colleen Murray, and all the nurses at NYOH who have been amazing, Dr. Doyle, who I will work with for my radiation when the time comes, and then most importantly, a woman named Maria Zinter who found a lump in my breast that was a third of a centimeter large. She was new to the practice. She hadn't even been doing this for long. She's way younger than I am. She found a lump in my chest that was a third of a centimeter, which is so tiny. But when she found it and pointed it out to me, I felt it myself. I had just never looked for it. And when I met my oncologist the first time and I told her the story of how I ended up in our office and how this lump was found, she told me that Maria Zinter saved my life, because if I hadn't wandered into her office until 40 years old when I got my first scheduled mammogram, the conversation would have been how much longer I had and not how we get rid of it forever. And that's something that's kept me up many nights. So thank you to all the doctors I've worked with, anybody that supported me so far in my journey. And the last thing I want to say is, obviously I'm sharing this video to help raise awareness, but I also really want to raise funds. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I am committed to raising as much as I can. We have all sorts of fun events planned through the Hot Yoga Spot, Bare Blends, other businesses that I'm partnered with or friends with in some way. We're gonna be at the Breast Cancer Walk. We're gonna be doing a lot of amazing things this month, so please follow on social media, sign up for our newsletter, whatever, message us and we'll give you the link to support our fundraising cause. If you know me personally and you want to donate, I would love it and appreciate it. If you don't know me, but you have been positively impacted by the Hot Yoga Spot or Bare Blends or the work I've done over the course of my career, or if you just know somebody who is fighting breast cancer or is a survivor or has lost the fight to breast cancer, any donations are so appreciated. They all go to research and supporting, and it's so appreciated. And lastly, if anybody wants to connect with me, you can email me. My email address is right on the Hot Yoga Spot website. Anybody else going through a similar journey, I'm here for you. I'm happy to connect with you. And for all the other women out there that are like me, that are 1 in 8 who will get breast cancer, I hope that you find it faster. I hope that you're able to treat it really effectively, and I hope that you're able to live a really long, really happy, really full life. Thank you. That's it.